Hello, YouTube world, and welcome to another edition of Monday Money Talks. So today we are going to do our usual thing. We're going to review the Johnson & Johnson stock that we had. I did make a mistake and not put monies into the Charles Schwab account in order to buy a new stock today. So once that money gets into the account, my Charles Schwab account, then I will purchase the stock and show you. So with that being said, let's start with showing you the spreadsheet and explaining the final sells for right now. Oh, before we get into the spreadsheet, I did want to show you, for those of you who are looking to use Charles Schwab as your means to purchase stocks, this is the way that you would add monies to your Charles Schwab account so you could purchase these stocks. And I do it this way because it's set up to my bank account, and I could just move the money over into there and not have to worry about these things. So as you can see, when you get onto your screen, after you get your account all set up, there are these tabs. This one shows your account, but to move money, transfer money to one account to another, you click on Move Money, and then you click on Transfer and Payments, this icon right here. That will bring you to this screen. After you click on Transfers and Payments, it'll bring you to this screen, and you click on Online Transfers. Then it will bring you to Set Up Your Transfer. Then I would select cash only, because I just want to transfer cash from my bank account to my Charles Schwab account. Then you will scroll down to the next page. Or, I'm sorry, you scroll down to the bottom page. I had to do screenshots like I was telling you. I prefer doing it this way than live. So then I enter my cash amount, which is $150. It's going to be a one-time payment, and I want that transfer to happen today. Okay? And again, I did this yesterday, not today. I did this yesterday. And then all you do is you push continue. Once you push continue, you're all done. Your money has been transferred to you. Well, it hasn't been transferred to your account, but it's going to be transferred to your Charles Schwab account. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, updated 6/3. Let me scroll over to the side here. So again, we had purchased, the original date that we had purchased the stock was on 5/10. And again, it was Johnson & Johnson. The ticker number for Johnson & Johnson that you would put in to look up the stock is JNJ. It's an equity stock. We bought it at $149.39, and we bought 2 shares. And the amount of investment, $298.78. Annual dividend was 4.76. The next dividend payment would have been $119. I did make a mistake. The annual dividend is for the 4 times they pay you, because it's a quarterly payment. That's what it means by this row here, dividend payout terms. It's Q is for quarterly. So over 4 quarters, this 119 is supposed to add up to the 476. I'm sorry. Yeah, the 119 is supposed to add up to the 476. As you can see, hold on, it's that times 4, and that what gives you the 476. So last week on 5/27, it was at 147.01. We didn't buy any new stock because we're only going to buy a share every month. So we're going to buy 1 share every month. And again, this is just to walk through. So one, it makes me accountable to go into my thing every month, review it, as well as showing you guys the steps and getting you familiar and getting you to also start buying some stocks, dividend stocks, and starting a retirement fund for yourself with dividends. So on 6/3, which is today, Johnson & Johnson is at 147.04. Again, we haven't bought the new stock. Right when the money comes in, this will go up to 3, and all this will change, all this here. Now, I had stopped at column I as I was explaining what that was. Now we're at next dividend. So I'm going to scroll down. Actually, let me finish explaining all this because I'm jumping around. It's at the annual dividend rate will be $4.96 based off of the next dividend payment amount. Okay, So this is what you'll get. This is the payment you'll get next quarter or this month. This month I should be getting $1.24 put back into my dividend stock. Scrolling down, none of this has changed. I think this changed to like 3.38, but all this is the same as of today. Now, getting back to the columns. We left off at I, and we're now finishing with J, or starting with J today. So in column J, next dividend payment. So I was trying to figure out how this calculated, right? Again, it didn't change from last week, as you could see. It's basically the same amount. Everything's the same. I think, like I said, this changed to like 3.38. But this here, this number here, this next dividend payment number, that is, and based off of me communicating with Charles Schwab to try to figure out how this is calculated, they had stated the dividend amount is decided by the board of directors of the company. This is a way for the company to share profit with stockholders, meaning the people who own stock in the company or equity in the company. There is not a fixed formula for a dividend payment. So this is calculated by the board of, this right here is calculated by the board of the company. So there's no formula here. It's basically, once you hear it, that this is what's going to be, this is what you should view. This here, though, is a formula, and it's, as you can see, J4 times 4, meaning 4 times is going to pay out, which gives you the 496. This here is a formula, which is the next dividend payment times the shares you own. So the quarterly payment, meaning what you'll be getting, and we're in K right now, what you will be getting is $2.48 back into your dividends. And that is because it's $1.24 for the next payment dividend times the amount of shares you own. So this is what I will actually be getting reinvested back into my stock, because I have my stocks reinvesting until the day I decide to retire. Column L is a formula. That formula is the annual dividend rate divided by the share cost, what you paid for at that time. Actually, not what you paid for, but what the current share cost is at the time the stock market opens up. So this changes, and it could change every day based off of what the stock market is showing for Johnson & Johnson. So that's what this is, the annual dividend yield. Again, the annual dividend yield is the annual dividend rate divided by the shares cost. So if you want to know what their yield is, like how much do they give out every year, or the percentage of how much they give out every year, that would be your annual dividend yield. This column is what I created. This column is the amount of shares you needed for a desired quarterly payout. What that means is, if what I'm looking for to this column here, see, N4, which is the dividend payment amount, divided by the desired quarterly payout, meaning how much I want to get every time my dividends are reinvested. I want $159 every quarter to be reinvested back into my stocks, so I can purchase, or the stock can keep building itself up. So if I forget to buy a stock that month, or that at the end of the quarter, like in June, I'll be getting a dividend stock that month, because that quarter they'll be paying me $159. But in order to get here, I need to have 128 shares in order for me to get this payout of $159. And this column N, there's no formula. It's just showing you that it's a desired quarterly payout. This is what I'm looking for in order right now. This is not retirement right now. This is just for the stock until I retire, to keep snowballing. They call it the snowball effect, for it to keep buying more shares of stock if I don't do it. And we'll get into these two later once I fill them in. I stated before, these columns I had messed up on the calculation, so I have to put a new calculation in. But this right here is the amount to invest in quarterly into your quarterly stock, meaning this one will be how much do I have to, just like these two columns here. It's just like these two columns. These columns are, again, is the amount of shares needed for desired quarterly payout for me to get more shares of stock, or at least one share of stock. So if I just stop and let this go on its own life, it'll always buy 4 shares every year if I stop at 128 shares. If I stop at 256 shares, then I will be getting 8 shares of stock every year, or two shares of stock every quarter that my dividends will be buying for me automatically. So this, again, this is very similar to this, but what this is for retirement. Now I'll change the name of this. So amount to invest in quarterly stocks. We'll do it right now. Nope. For retirement. Desired target monthly pay for retirement. Okay. So basically what I'm trying to do is I want a monthly pay for my retirement out of dividend stocks. I'll fill this in now. We'll say for Johnson & Johnson, let's just put out there $200 per month. And I'll explain why I'm putting this in there. And this, I'll have to calculate this and explain it to you later. But this is what I'm looking for every month payout. So if you broke down the quarterly pay, let's see if I can pull up my calculator. Hold on. Okay, I got my calculator here. I want to get $200 per month. So $200 times 12, because there's 12 months in a year, would give me $2,400. And I'll explain this later of why I'm looking at this certain stock. Because again, I have more stock. But for you, if you're looking just to buy one dividend stock, which I recommend you not to, if you're looking at one dividend stock to live off for the rest of your life, and we're just saying hypothetically that it's going to never, ever go down, it's always going to be good, 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years, whatever it may be, it's going to be good, and you're always going to get a payment. You're going to want to move this up higher. But for me, like I said, I've got other dividend stocks, other means of income that I'm trying to build up for that time. Again, $200 will give you $2,400 a year. That's great. Oops, I messed up already. $2,400 divided by, because remember, this is a quarterly stock. So you'll be getting every quarter $600, and you have to split that up wisely to make sure once you get that $200, it goes across the 4 months that you've been waiting for this payment. So you can't retire. So technically, if you're looking to live off of this, you'd have to start in April, right? Because that's 4 months. You have to start in April, retire after you receive this $600. Then you'll be ahead of the game. So the next 4 months, you should be running out of this $600. The next $600 should come, and you can live off of that $600 until your next payment. But again, we'll go a little deeper in that because that's a different topic than what we're going over today. So I put $200 in there because that's what I'm looking for retirement with this one stock. And like I said, I'll put the formula in here. Well, let me see if I can put the formula in here. Okay, so I had to pause my recording here so I could fill these in properly. So I changed the name of this row as well as this row to amount of shares to have invested in for your retirement. And this one, desired target quarterly pay for retirement. I changed it from monthly to quarterly because I kind of want to keep everything uniform, because if I change it to monthly, people get confused. So we know this is a quarterly stock will keep everything quarterly, where it pays out quarterly. So the amount of shares to have invested in for retirement to get $1,000, which is $250 per month, to get $250 per 4 months. Every month, 250, 250, 250, 250 gives you that 1,000. So that's what this equals out to. I changed it from 200 to 250 because you have to always remember, once you stop reinvesting this money and you're getting payments, the government's going to want to take some taxes out of it. So you got to incorporate that figure into what you're looking to get a quarterly payment for retirement. I just rounded it up to 250 because by the time the taxes come out, you'll be getting $200 by then. You can figure out a percentage. I don't want to sit up here and go through all that. I figured 250. Usually I'm high. That's a much higher than how much taxes will be coming out for that paycheck, or that amount of money coming to you. The extra is just good enough for me. I'll take it. Getting back to column 0 or column O, the amount of shares to have invested in for retirement would be 806 shares. So I would have to have 806 shares, 6 shares of stock invested in, or have equity in Johnson & Johnson shares to get that $1,000 every quarter. If you want more than that, if you want to double that, where you're getting $2,000 every 4 months, which is every quarter, you would have to get 1,600 shares. So you can see how this works. The more shares, the more you'll get payment and dividends back. Some people might be saying, how much is that? We'll do a little calculation over here. Calculation. 806 times, right now, say for instance you're buying a share, the amount is 204.08. You would have had invested $237,000, $161.29. So $237,000 you will have to invest if you're getting this today, 806 shares. This is how much you would have to invest out of your pocket in order to get 806 shares, in order for you to get $1,000 payment every quarter. It's a lot of money. So let me tell you this. There's a lot of people on here that they're deep diving and they're talking about how dividend stocks work. Great, kudos to them. But for people like me, and I'm talking for people like for me and people like me, we don't need to hear all that stuff. We want to know the nitty gritty, what I'm showing you today. How much is the stock? This is how much the stock is. If we invest 2 shares, how much do we need to have to get 2 stocks? $294. Okay, now if I put in this $294 to get 2 shares, how much will I be getting paid every quarter for the dividends? Well, your quarterly payout will be $2.48. Oh, that's not much. No, it's not. This amount here is not. It's not going to happen in 4 or 5 years. This is, again, the stock market is a long-term investment. You got to start young, or when you're older like me, you just got to dump as much money as you can into it and pray for the best that you could get at least something out of it so you can retire on it. And they'll sit up here and say, oh, well, why should I do that? That's what investing is. That's what saving your money is about, is to save for your future. I don't know if, let me close out of this just a minute. So I don't know if I'm going to have Social Security by the time I retire. I don't know if any younger generation is going to have Social Security after I retire. I might be the last one to get Social Security. So you have to start thinking other ways or means of getting some type of retirement monies to pay for your future when you retire. Otherwise, you're going to be working until you die, and you got to hope that people find what you have up here and what you can do is valuable for them to hire you to work in their company. The older you get, the harder it is to find a job. It really is. A lot of companies, they think you're a relic, and they're looking for the new blood to come in, but at the same token, they don't want to hear the new blood coming in, new young blood coming in, because they don't feel that they know a lot. It's one of those catch-22 things. My whole point is you got to think of other means of re- funds for retirement. This is one, and I will talk about others. And again, keep talking money talk on Mondays. A lot of African Americans, we didn't really talk about this. Our parents really didn't talk about this to us. Now things have changed where they are, as well as I do for my children. And my dad was trying to teach me this, and I said this before. And I was young and dumb and didn't want to hear. I thought I knew everything. And now I regret it. But the things he told me, I remember, and I'm trying to implement now in my older life. And I'm doing it even though my children do not want to listen half the time about it. I'm doing it for them as much as I can. For the one that for the ones that for people that are out there with little ones, start for them right when they're born. Open up a custodial account for stocks. Buy a couple of stocks. I mean, like I said, when I was showing you the amount of shares needed for desired quarterly payout, if you get that started right when they're, let's say, 5 years old, 6 years old, as it keeps accumulating, say for instance you forget to put money in there every month, every quarter, whatever it is, at least the stock will be reinvesting that money back in to buy a stock, a full share for them. So by the time that they're 18, graduating from college, they should have quite a bit of stock if you did not put money in there every month or every quarter, whatever it may be. This is a perfect way to do this. I tell you, I hope that what I'm doing here benefits people. I hope what I'm doing here uh, helps people to help their children as well. And for the younger generation, I hope they hear about it and they're not doing it. I hope this is the final message coming from me to open your eyes and ears to start doing this and finding other means of income to retire on. So, with all this being said, I gotta stop saying that. That's kind of, I'm starting to get annoyed with saying that myself. Thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. Subscribe, please subscribe. Get people to subscribe. Spread the word about my Monday Money Talk series. And I hope, like I said, I hope you're benefiting something out of this. So until our next video, see ya.